Over the last few years, there's been this explosion in AI text generators, like ChatGPT. And what's really interesting about these programs is not just how good they are at generating human-like text, but how human-like they are at generating text. They write with the same kinds of mistakes that humans do. Little slips and errors that reflect the way our minds work. In other words, they mimic the little quirks that make us human. And those quirks can be really endearing when they come from a machine. When a computer program acts a little bit like us, it can be easy to think of it as a friend, or at least an ally. But does that mean we should trust it? A new paper out of the University of Oxford makes us question whether we should let robots into our Writer S room or even our Zoom meetings. Let's have a look. The authors of the paper asked, in some cases, they were told to write an email asking for time off. In others, they were told to use formal language or to be as polite as possible. And in some conditions, they were told to write in the style of a particular author. For example, then the participants were asked to evaluate the quality of their own writing, and also how much they liked it. Sounds innocent enough, right? Well, what the researchers wanted to know is whether the participants would also like the writing style of a text generator. Whether they would trust it, basically. And they found that people liked the writing samples generated by the AI, especially when the AI tried to mimic human writing errors. So when it wrote with the same kind of mistakes that the participants made themselves, they really liked it. It didn't matter whether they were asked to write in the style of Shakespeare, or had to use as many big words as possible. The more human-like the AI wrote, the better people seemed to like it. But here's the catch. The researchers then told the participants that actually the text had been generated by another person, but by a machine. This is what we call a deception task, a well-established method in social psychology. Basically, you tell people something nice about someone. Tell them that someone else told you this, and then you ask them whether they trust this other person. If they do, you reveal that the other person is real. And then you ask them again whether they trust this person. In this case, it wasn't a person, but a machine that was impersonated. But I guess it's basically the same thing. And what the researchers found is that once they revealed that it was a machine, people said that they trusted the machine less if it had written more like them. So if they had to write in a very formal style, they liked the AI's output less when they knew it was a machine. Trust is an important ingredient for collaboration. If we don't trust each other, we can't work together effectively. And with AI becoming ever more integrated into our workplaces, understanding how to build trust in AI systems is becoming increasingly important. This study suggests that we might be more likely to trust AI colleagues if they make more mistakes, at least if they make the same mistakes as us. I find this quite surprising, because I would have expected the opposite. I mean, if a colleague makes a lot of mistakes, I wouldn't trust them. I'd think, why do I want to be working with someone who can't get anything right? But maybe it's different with machines. Maybe we trust them more if they do a bad job. Because then we can more easily convince ourselves that they're only doing what they're reprogrammed to do. Or maybe it is simply because we're so used to being judged by the quality of our writing or the correctness of our answers that we feel a bit threatened by an AI. If an AI is capable of doing our job better than we can, we might worry about our own job security. And that might make us reject the AI, at least if we know it's a machine. This is just one study, of course, so take the results with a grain of salt. But I think more generally it tells us that it might not always be a good idea to too much to think of AI as if it were a person, because that might create unrealistic expectations. For C, the news is not all bad though. The researchers also found that people trusted an AI more when it wrote in the style of Shakespeare or Austen. So maybe we can agree on some basic standards of quality that we can all adhere to regardless of whether we read human or machine. Though come to think of it, that might not work with Shakespeare. I mean, even native speakers struggle with writing in the style of Shakespeare. If you want to know more about how neural networks work, the Neural Network course will give you a deeper understanding of how intelligent artificial intelligence really is with some hands-on examples. And Brilliant has courses on many other topics in science and mathematics too. Whether you're interested in neural nets, or quantum computing, or linear algebra, they have you covered. I even have my own course there that's an introduction to quantum mechanics. It'll bring you up to speed on all the basics: interference, superpositions, entanglement, and up to the uncertainty principle and Bell's theorem. Brilliant is really the best place to build up your background knowledge on all those science videos that you've been watching. It'll make you understand the world a little better, and it's fun too. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.